In this video, I wanted to show the different ways of activating the tools in the command line. So for the tools, the first way to do that is you come to the Tools menu here, and you see Web Developer Tools submenu. You hover over this, and the first menu item is Show All Tools. And that will just open up the toolbox in its default view. Another way of doing that is if you actually just click on Web Developer Tools and not hover over it, it will also select the first menu item, which is Show All Tools. So that's a quick way of opening these tools without going through a submenu. Now let's say you wanted to open up the inspector. You could just open up this toolbox and click Inspector, but if you know that you want the inspector and you don't want to go through that extra step, you can go to Web Developer Tools again and just click Inspect, or you can use a keyboard shortcut, Command Shift I. Let's do that now. Command Shift I, and it opens up the inspector without having to go through that extra step. Now that may not seem like a big deal, but it's a bigger deal if you're using a floating tool. So let's start over here, and we'll open up the tools. And let's say in this case we want to use a scratch pad, but we don't want the toolbox in the background. So let's look at all the steps that would take. You'd have to go to Tools, go to the submenu, Show All Tools, come over here to the scratch pad icon, turn on the scratch pad, and then you would have to come back over here and turn off the toolbox. That's a lot of clicks, and it's really inefficient if all you want to do is get to the scratch pad. There is, of course, a keyboard shortcut, but if you wanted to go through the menu system, go to Web Developer Tools here, and you just directly select the scratch pad, it's going to open that floating panel without opening the entire toolbox, so that's kind of nice. And then let's talk a little bit about the command line. So there are a couple ways of activating this as well. One is through the menu, so Developer Toolbar, and that just opens up the command line. The other way is from the toolbox. You can turn that on and off there, and that actually works in the opposite way as well. So if we have just let's turn on just the Developer Toolbar, you can turn the tools on from here also. So there are lots of different ways of activating these tools, and hopefully that meets pretty much every use case that a developer would have.